Hey, what's up guys, Sir Emanon here, bringing you to today a brand new deck profile for Lunalights on the channel, and that is going to be for Time Thief Lunalights. First I want to apologize that this video is delayed one day. The reason being is that last night I tried to record this and it just didn't work out. I was rambling on far too long in like all of the takes and I tried to redo them a bunch of times, just didn't work. But here we are again trying today, and hopefully it'll go better. But if you see this video, it did, so hooray for me. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, this is the variant of Lunalights that I will be playing this upcoming format, post Ignition Assault. I did get the chance to play this at my sneak peek 2 days ago at my locals, and it was pretty successful, I would say. We had a 44-man tournament, which is a pretty big turnout, so we had 6 rounds of Swiss, and I actually did go 6-0, but I lost out in top 8 immediately to my teammate playing Salaman Grape, which actually exposed quite a lot of the flaws in my build, which I'll talk about later on. But yeah, I think this build is very, very strong and is capable of contending with the meta, kind of just depending on how strong like things like Spiral end up being and whatnot, but we'll get to that a little bit later as well. But yeah, just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. If you guys haven't seen my community posts on the YouTube like community tab, I do actually post in there quite a bit if you want to stay updated on various videos that I'm making, and if you want to vote in polls that I put up. I tend to generally give you guys like some sort of like options as far as what videos you want to see first. And I'm actually going to probably put out another poll by the time this video is up, so be sure to check that out. Also, if you want to take part in, just some direct communication with me, as far as sometimes me just reaching out to viewers specifically, I do have a Discord server, which I do mention at the end of every video, but I'm sure not everyone stays till the end of the video. So yeah, be sure to check that out. Link is always in the description box, as well as my other social media platforms such as Twitch and Twitter. So yeah, I just wanted to plug those now before the end of the video. And one final thing is, if you do want to purchase any of the cards in this video, be sure to use my TCG Player affiliate link. I know a lot of people have this, but if you want to help support me specifically, that would be great. Would be highly appreciative of it. And yeah, so without further ado, let's just actually dive on to the deck profile. Just a quick little thing also before we get started is that I am actually recording this audio in post. Reason being that my camera picks up the echo in my room where the acoustics are pretty bad. But the Blue Nessie USB mic that I use to record this audio, it actually doesn't do that. So that's why this might seem a little bit different as far as the audio sync with the video. But yeah, let's actually get into the profile now. Alright, so starting off, we're playing the obligatory 3 Lunalight Kaleido Chick, obviously. We're also playing the 3 copies of Tiger, the 2 copies of Yellow Martin, the 1 copy of Lunalight Emerald Bird, and finally the 1 copy of Zephyros. This is all pretty standard in my opinion. I kind of say this every time I do a Lunalight deck profile by now, but I think that these are the cards that everyone should be familiar with at this point, even like the non-Lunalight players. But especially if you're a Lunalight player, you should probably read up on these cards if you're not familiar with them. But yeah, these are the primary playmakers, and I didn't actually play any other Lunalight names, simply because this deck is more geared towards comboing and trying to resolve the best first turn play possible. And I feel like the other Lunalight names just aren't conducive to that. And I have alternate win conditions to push for damage apart from the fusions. So yeah, no fusions in this build. This is more of a rank 4 toolbox build if anything else. But yeah, these are obviously pretty staple. Alrighty, so next up we have the Armageddonite and the Dark Grepher, part of the Warrior package. I'm not actually too big of a fan of this, looking back retrospectively. I think that these cards kind of fill obviously the same purpose as Kaleido Chick in terms of getting graveyard setup, but the problem is that you're basically most of the time achieving the same play as what Kaleido Chick would do anyway. Like, these have the added benefit, of course, of getting you additional pluses by triggering Emerald Bird or Yellow Martin or like getting Zephyros engraved or whatever, but I feel like the majority of the time, more often than not, it'll just instead leave you susceptible to hand traps. And you're just going to clog on too many normal summons, because if you draw these alongside Kaleido Chick, the majority of the time you're just going to summon Chick anyway, because, Chick is just the safer play. But yeah, these cards have like a really high ceiling attached to them. They heighten your ceiling a little bit, but I don't think it's enough to justify their inclusion, because like the risks associated with that are really, really high. So I would maybe consider keeping Armageddonite just because like it's less, cost intensive than Grepher, and like, again, we want to reduce the number of normal summons, but you still want to have enough starter cards. So I might consider just keeping Armageddonite, but I would definitely cut Grepher as well as the Rhoda that'll come later. So yeah, that's just for future reference. Then we got our Time Thief engine, which is 3 Time Thief Winder and 1 Bezel Ship. Winder is very, very good, obviously. If you don't know what this card does, basically, if you have it in hand, you reveal it and attach an Xyz material from any Xyz you control as a cost. Then it special summons itself to the field, and when it's normal or special summoned, you add any Time Thief card from deck to hand. So yeah, this card is amazing. It literally is an extender that gets you a free plus, and it gets you into the rest of their Time Thief cards, which is really, really good. Bezel Ship's one of the search targets, and I was very 50-50 on it. It's good in the spots where it's useful, but it also contributes to bad hands, if it makes sense. Like, I would consider this card to be an additional extender in that you don't want to hard draw it, but in the cases where you do have it, it's nice. So for those of you guys who don't know what Bezel Ship does, if Bezel Ship's in your graveyard, you can attach a material from any Xyz monster and then summon it to your field. And it also has a quick effect where you contribute it and then target any Time Thief Xyz monster and then attach any card from your opponent's graveyard to it as material. So notably, that effect doesn't target the card in your opponent's graveyard, so you just declare that you're using it, and then you attach whatever you want. So your opponent kind of just has to preemptively respond if they have any quick effects they want to use, which is pretty cool. But yeah, Bezel Ship's nice for the interaction. Like, you just leave it on the field after you use its effect to summon itself. Like, it does get banished if you use it, but that's fine because you can still tribute for cost, and then it will resolve. So like, you can put like spells under Redoer, traps under Redoer. You can like act as like a pseudo DD Crow, which is similar to another card that we're gonna get to later. But yeah, these cards are really good. Winder especially, obviously, just because it's a free body that gets you even more advantage, which is crazy. But Bezel Ship, again, it can contribute to bad hands, so I might keep it, I might cut it. It kind of just depends on how I feel about it moving forward. But yeah, definitely a good engine to include in the deck for sure. Namesake of the deck, of course. Next up is kind of the weird part of the deck. So this is going to be a very strange danger ratio. It's 1 Nessie, 3 Mothman, and 1 Jackalope. So I know this looks really strange, right? Like, no why no snake, why only 1 Jackalope? I wanted to kind of reduce the number of dangers going into this. My mentality going into the event was just kind of maximize on starters that were like reliable. So that's why I prioritized the Armageddon Knight, Dark Refer, Rhoda package so heavily. But moving forward, like, those cards kind of just weren't doing it for me, like I already explained. So I would rather just have more dangers instead, to be honest. Snake in particular, I'm a little bit iffy on because it doesn't contribute to anything other than making Curious, and I did cut Curious from this build, but I am actually going to probably put it back in because I did miss it. However, yeah, Jackalope is nice because it accesses the level 4s, which this is, again, just ranks for spam, and Nessie does the same thing. But yeah, like, I just think you need more reliable ways to see your Lunalight cards, because weirdly enough, I just didn't see Chick Tiger a lot. Like, it's kind of weird to say, but I just didn't see those cards very often, and I didn't really feel like playing Lure of Darkness. I just don't like that card, even with like the extra monsters that you're willing to banish. Like, most of them you just don't want to, so I'd rather keep my resources. But yeah, I think that the solution to increasing consistency while maintaining enough extenders to actually contribute to your plays is to play more danger. So that's probably the change I would make moving forward. Replace the warrior engine with the danger count. So the final monsters in this deck are actually 3 Cypher Gamma and the 1 Driver. This is in here for going second against combo decks. It's really good hand trap insurance when you have Lambda up, kind of like Call by the Grave. But also this is searchable with Lambda when you banish Redoer by its own effect. So that's a really cool interaction. If you guys do want to actually see what boards this deck can end on, given like either test hands or just standard combos, be sure to let me know by leaving 100 likes on this video. That way I'm sure that you guys want to see that combo video. But yeah, that's going to be it for the monsters. Let's go on to the spell cards. So for spells, it's pretty standard. It's 3 Tenki, 3 Lunalight Perfume, 3 Foolish Burial Goods, 1 Foolish, 1 Rhoda for the Warriors, and Double or Nothing. So I asked you guys in the poll on the community tab if I should play this card, and you guys overwhelmingly said yes. I'm glad that I listened, because despite me drawing the card 3 times, I actually did perform the Double or Nothing OTK 7 times, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, it's just really easy win conditions still, and that's something this deck really appreciates, especially with how much spamming goes on. So for the traps, we have the standard Serenade Dance, and then we have 1 Time Thief Flyback and 1 Time Thief Retrograde. Flyback allows you to, on activation, target any Time Thief Xyz monster on your field, and then attach a Time Thief card from your hand or deck to it as material. And then it has a nifty banish effect where you can banish it from your graveyard and then target a Time Thief Xyz monster you control, and then attach any card from your opponent's graveyard to it as material, similar to Bezelship. So yeah, this card is primarily used for that graveyard effect since you can only use one of the effects per turn and only once that turn. So basically you can attach this directly from your deck with the new Xyz monster Perpetua, and then use this card on Redoer so that Redoer gets a guaranteed spin, and then once this gets attached, you can use this graveyard effect to act kind of like a mini DD Crow almost. So really cool. You can use it as utility for Redoer to get better effects off, or you can interrupt your opponent's graveyard with it. Really nice disruption. And then with Retrograde, it is a searchable counter trap where you basically just negate any spell or trap card activation, but then you get to attach that negated card to any Time Thief Xyz as material. So most of the time you'll be negating spells with this, and then you can just put it under Redoer and get a draw out of it, which is really awesome. So that's it for the traps, and that's going to be it for the main deck. Next up, we're going to talk about the extra deck for a bit. So first off, we have for Link Monsters, Cypher Lambda. This is for the Redoer play as well as for Gamma to make it live. We have IP Masquerena for arrows and for, proactive plays on our opponent's turn. Nightmare Cerberus, Phoenix, and Unicorn. All three of them actually came up, so that's pretty good. And then we have Appaloosa and Borosword. Both of those have their specific purposes. You can often IP into Appaloosa, and then Borosword just helps finish games, so that's pretty good. And then finally for the Xyz monsters, we got Force Strix, to search Zephyrs, Redoer, and Perpetua. Perpetua allows you to, as a quick effect, target any Xyz monster on your field, and then attach a Time Thief card from your deck to it. So it not only sets up your Redoer for specific plays, but it also helps buff up your other utility Xyz monsters, such as Abyss Dweller, Tornado Dragon, and Evil Swarm Nightmare right here. All these get boosts from it, which is pretty nice. Specifically, Evil Swarm Nightmare, just having 3 Book of Moons is crazy. But Perpetua also allows you to detach a material in the standby phase to reborn a Time Thief card, or a Time Thief monster. So yeah, very powerful card, just enabling Redoer to do its plays and just giving buffs to your extra Xyz monsters is really good. And then the other 3 are just utility based. They're all very situational, but based on the matchup and the metagame. So that's subject to change, but it's a toolbox, which is what it's there for. And then finally, we of course have the Utopia and the Utopia double package. Not too much to say there, it's just game ender. And now finally for the side deck. So first off, we have the 1 Pankratops, it's limited. Then we have 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird for combo decks like Spiral and Hero. We have Nibiru, also for stuff like Hero, not against Spiral so much. 3 Dark Ruin or more, mostly for Spiral, but also for like Pendulum. 3 Twin Twister, and the 1 Red Reboot for trap decks like Altergeist and Guru. And the final card is actually going to be Evil Sword Exciton Knight. This is an interesting one. It's kind of there to pair with like Dark Ruler No More, just to blow up boards. And it's also there against trap decks just to demand an answer. This side deck is very tentative and definitely subject to change based on the format as we get more information on it. So feel free to just use this as a baseline for your side deck. So yeah, that's actually going to do it for this deck profile. I did actually make it a point to make it more concise. Let me know if you actually prefer this style as in post commentary. It takes a lot more editing for me. It actually took longer than I expected to. But if you guys do like this more than me just rambling, be sure to let me know. But yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like as well as any thoughts or feedback in the comment section down below. Feel free to subscribe for more informative and competitive Yu-Gi-Oh content. If you want to, you can follow me on Discord, Twitter, or Twitch. All 3 links are in the description as always. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, I will catch you in the next video. See you guys.